Welcome back. Here in part 2, we're going to go over screen sharing. Zoom meetings often start off like this, where you can see all the participants in these Brady Bunch style boxes. But sometimes you'd like your meeting to mimic more of a classroom type setting. So you'd like your attendees to see what it is that you're seeing on your computer screen. That's where screen sharing comes in really handy. It'll even show your mouse moving and what it is that you're typing in real time. You as the host get to decide whether your attendees can see a single window at a time, such as this Word document, or if they can see your entire desktop. There are some pros and cons to each method, so I'm going to go over those after I show you how to screen share. Let's start from the top. Now, you might be starting off on a Brady Bunch style screen like this, or you might be starting off on this info type screen. Doesn't matter. Either way, you're still going to have this Share Screen button down at the bottom in your options bar. This brings up the Choices window, where you pick what it is that you're going to be sharing. This window basically gives you a bird's eye view of what all it is that you have open currently on your computer. For example, here I can see that I have a browser open, a couple of Word docs, MS Teams. I could even share what I'm seeing on my iPhone. In this first example, I'm going to share just a single window. I'm going to select this Word doc, and after I click it, the selection box turns blue. But I'm not sharing my screen just yet. There's still one more step. After I select which screen I want to share, then I have to click this blue Share button in the lower right-hand corner. So it's kind of like a two-step process to confirm that yes, you really do want to be sharing your screen. Now my attendees can see this Word doc. I'm going to turn my video back on, and you can see that my video and the other attendees' videos have been squished into this kind of tiny film strip thing in the upper right corner. Sometimes this can get in the way. So for example, let's say I wanted to teach about the Find and Replace feature here in Word. Well, it might be blocking a couple of those buttons here on the ribbon, so I can click and drag this little film strip guy around. If I drag him to the bottom, he's going to become horizontal. But I can get rid of him entirely by clicking this minus sign, and now I've hidden the thumbnails of my videos. My attendees might still have their videos on, I just won't see them on the right-hand side here. So I could come back to this little tiny bar here, this little box, and I can click on this, looks like an equal sign, show thumbnail videos, and now they're back. They're still horizontal from when I moved them to the bottom before, but I can bring them to the right, and now they're vertical again. Depending on the size of the monitor you're using, when you look at the film strip on the right-hand side, you'll usually see about 4 to 5 of your participants. If you're like me and you like to glance over at the little film strip of attendees during the meeting to kind of see, are people confused, how are they doing, it's going to show that you're looking down to the right the whole time. So what you can do is you can drag your film strip to the middle. So that way you can kind of keep an eye on folks. At the same time, it looks like you're still looking ahead. So this comes in handy if you record your sessions. And if you find it too distracting, you can always just click the minus sign again to hide the videos so that you don't have to see them as you're teaching. So we have this rectangle here, we have this options bar down here. If I click on the participants, this window pops up. You may be wondering, can your attendees see all this? The answer is no. By default, these are hidden when you start your meetings. Now let's say that I'm done showing what I need to show in this Word document, and I want to demonstrate something in one of the other Word documents. If I just go ahead and click on that other Word document here, my attendees are still back on that first one. I have to actively switch the share. So to do that, I'm going to click on this green button. You'll notice that now it says New Share, so I'm going to click on this, and then my Choices window pops up once again. So then I'm going to click on the new Word doc that I want to share, and then I click the blue Share button. Now they can see this document. And if you're going to go with the one-at-a-time method, then yep, you need to go through that switching process every single time you want to switch to a new document or a new application. If you're going to do it this way, a best practice that I picked up is to ask your audience each time you switch to give you a verbal yes or type yes in the chat to confirm that they're seeing the same thing that you're seeing. So, for example, I might say, hey everyone, just to check, can you see my Zoom tips document here? If you're going to be going back and forth between a bunch of applications, or even if you just don't want to have to worry about the switching share process, if you happen to click on something else on your computer, you might consider sharing your entire screen instead of just one application at a time. Let me go ahead and share my full screen. To do that, I once again click on New Share, and then this time I'm going to click on the choice in the upper left-hand corner that says Screen. And then once again, I have to click on this blue Share button in the lower right. You'll notice that this green outline has appeared around my entire screen. This lets me know that my attendees are seeing my entire desktop now, including the time and date in the lower right-hand corner. So this is the method that you'll want to use if you need to demonstrate something in your taskbar or in the search field. Just as an FYI, sometimes this green line doesn't show up even when you are sharing your entire desktop. Now, even though this method makes it easier in that you don't have to worry about if your attendees can see what it is that you're seeing, one of the cons of this method is that they can now see distracting or confidential pop-ups that may appear. For example, maybe you'll get an Outlook alert that you have a disciplinary meeting for such and such student coming up in 15 minutes. Or maybe you have a confidential file that you're working on, and as you're trying to figure out which document it is that you want to switch to, the preview of that document pops up and then everybody can see it. So while the one-at-a-time method can be more cumbersome, it does give you some more control and privacy. And last but not least, let's talk about sharing a video during your meeting. Before you press play, you're going to want to optimize the audio and the video quality during the screen share. Here's how you do so. You'll click on the screen New Share button, and then in the lower left corner of the Choices window, you're going to click this box for Share Computer Sound and Optimize Screen Sharing for Video Clip. Then you'll click the blue Share button. If you didn't click those buttons, what would happen is that your audience would hear what your computer mic is able to pick up from what it's hearing from your computer speakers. In other words, not the greatest. When you check these two boxes, however, the audio quality is like your attendees are watching the video on their own computer.